Been a while since you and I talked about the confines of if body cam footage will justify a shooting or not, but today we have Takiyah Young, a woman, a pregnant woman, accused of stealing from a Kroger. The cops show up, they see her, they ask her questions, she doesn't want to answer questions, she tries to flee the scene, she almost runs over a cop, and the cop shoots her, and now everybody's screaming, "We want the body cam footage. This is not justified. These cops hunt down black people," because if I didn't mention it, the woman was black and the cops were white. And of course, the body cam footage comes out a week later and people see it and they scream, "Oh my God, it's proof that there's injustice in this society. How dare those cops target her, hunt her down, and blah, 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 blah." Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
Well, protesters marched through the Short North tonight in honor of Takiyah Young. Good evening and thanks for joining us at 11, everybody. I'm Yolanda Harris. Andrew is off tonight. This protest comes hours after Blendon Township Police released the body camera video showing Takiyah Young, a pregnant mother, being shot and killed by police in a Kroger parking lot. And that's where we find 10 TV's Richard Solomon tonight. Richard, what do these protesters want?
Well, Yolanda, their answer is simple. They want the raw and edited version of that body camera video. And that is also something that Takiyah's family has been pushing for ever since that shooting happened here in this Kroger parking lot. And speaking of this Kroger, at the front entrance, there are water cases blocking the door and a sign that reads they are temporarily closed. Demonstrators say they are fighting for justice for both mother and child.
Then get out.
It's the several seconds of this Blendon Township body camera video that has so many people enraged.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
Hours after the body camera video showing the shooting death of pregnant 21-year-old Takiyah Young was released, demonstrators marched through the Short North because of what they saw.
It's also just another reminder of, like, every time that something like this happens, every time we're plagued with violence in this city, it's a reminder that our solutions are not actually leading to anything better or more safe.
More than a week after the incident, Blendon Township Police released the video showing two officers flag down Young because an employee said she was stealing liquor. A few moments pass and Young starts to turn the wheel, pulling away from officers. Then
Get out of the car.
FOP Vice President Brian Steele says the officer who shot Young has not yet been interviewed by BCI.
Outside looking in, based on my training and experience from what I saw in that video, I believe it was, I understand why it could be justified, but again, I don't make that decision. Ultimately, a grand jury is going to make that decision.
But for them, it's simply not enough.
Their name!
What they want is real change. So no mother, no child, no family dies by the hand of law enforcement again.
But if you watch the body cam footage, you can clearly see the cops are dealing with something else. Somebody's locked car, an employee shows up and says, "Help me, these people are stealing from the store." They go in the direction of Takiyah, they knock on the window, Takiyah's not complying. She does mention that she wasn't the one stealing, it was other people stealing, but she doesn't get out the car, try to explain herself, try to prove that she wasn't stealing and show that she didn't have anything worth of stealing, and then she could have went home, but put a pin in that because we're gonna come back to it later. She tries to flee the scene while also hitting a cop while doing so. Cop shoots.
Out of the car.
7 back in service, 1828.
Get out of the car. Then get out. No, then get out.
Get out of the car.
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 Shots fired.
Shots fired. Stop the car. Stop. Car.
We're going to have a 34 on Custom Route, he's going to be at 10 to 29, 3705 Managua, 3705.
What's that?
Female is hallucinating. Fletcherville asked for a 10.
Hey, stop. Hey, out of the car. 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 They said you stole stuff, do not leave. Get out of the car. Then get out. No, then get out. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
And I'm gonna be honest, yes, hindsight is 2020, but when I saw this, I was a little bit annoyed. They shoot her. It's clear that she's dead because the car is not moving in a fast motion. It's moving slow, and it's clear that it's about to hit a wall, and these cops are screaming out, get out the car, stop the car, blah, 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 blah. Yes, in the moment, they're supposed to be cautious of somebody potentially speeding off and running and fleeing for the hills, but honestly, I saw that, and I was a little bit annoyed. They break into her car window, which opens the possibility of anyone asking, Leon, since you're so smart, what alternatives would you have done to get her out of the car? Oh, I don't know, breaking the car window and dragging her out by the hair, because if you're giving me two options of either shooting a pregnant woman or breaking her car window to get her out, to get her to comply with officers, I'm going with the second option every day of the week. And of course, people saw all this. The Twitter warriors came out, all the TikTok think pieces about how everyone's a bigot if you don't realize that this is a problem. How dare the cops do this?
Takaya Young, I think that's her name, was shot and killed by police in Ohio. Body cam footage is out. And the theory is that she was in her car. Another employee said that she had stolen alcohol. They go up to the window, they tell her to get out of the car. She rolls it like a crackdown, and she's like, I'm not getting out. And she proceeds to attempt to drive away slowly. There is nobody in front of her. And he shoots in the window and kills her. Now, he said there was an officer, so like she was in danger of his life. The body cam footage doesn't show that. There's a lot going on here. Number one, it is the word of the employee that she is a thief. It's not the word of the judge. It's not the word of the, the court. So they're attempting to stop her. Yes, she's not listening, but she at this point is not guilty. And her attempt to leave, while it's maybe fleeing the scene, right? It's fine, we get that. She hasn't presented any threat to anyone, a person. She did not present a threat to those officers in attempting to drive. Let these people fucking drive away. Let them drive. Stop murdering them. That's all that we're asking. Stop murdering them. Let her drive away. Let her drive away. If she's a thief, she'll get caught. At some point, she's probably on some footage in the store. Go back into the store. Get the camera footage. Prove, first of all, that that you have a right to fucking pull her over because you're just taking the word of someone in the Kroger store. And even if she stole alcohol, she is not a physical threat to anyone while she's sitting in her car attempting to leave with alcohol in it. You don't get to just murder people because you think they're guilty of something and you get to decide what the punishment is. I don't know of any judge that has said execution by gunfire because you stole some alcohol from a fucking Kroger's. Stop murdering Black people. Just stop.
The body cam footage of the murder of Takaya Young was released at 10 a.m. today, September 1st, 2023. And I just watched it. I'm not going to be sharing the video on my platform because, quite frankly, I don't feel comfortable showing a video of a Black woman being murdered. The body cam footage that I watched lasted about 50 seconds. That's about how long it took for them to take Takaya Young's life and her unborn daughter. After accusing her of stealing, even though they had absolutely no proof except for a worker that had worked at the Kroger, tried to bust out her driver's side window, got in front of the car and had a gun drawn while saying, "Get the F," and then after they shot her, they kept banging on her window telling her to get the F out of the car. These officers are on paid vacation after murdering a woman and her unborn daughter. How sick is that? Justice for Takaya Young.
Not only do racist white people believe the lies told by police, racist white people will then take those lies and spread them everywhere to try to push this false narrative about what takes place when officers murder Black people. Takaya Young never tried to run anyone over. The body cam footage clearly shows her driving around the officer, trying to get away from these psychopaths that drew their guns out on her because supposedly she was shoplifting, but they didn't find any shoplifted items in her vehicle. So miss me with this bullshit propaganda and take your comments somewhere else.
But my problem with these types of people is that they don't want to at least admit that there's a problem with fleeing the scene when officers are simply asking you to get out the car so that you can explain yourself, and you, while also trying to flee the scene, are running a cop over, not really over, but to the point where they actually get hit and they have to retaliate. Why won't people concede that that's what this woman did? Why is it so hard to admit that this woman could have ran over completely a cop because she was a little bit hesitant to get out of the car and answer a few questions? And let's muddy the water just a little bit here, because this whole talk about this is all because she was stealing alcohol, I have not been able to see anyone 100% confirm that this is what happened, because you have the chief of police saying, yeah, this was not about her stealing alcohol, this was about her running over somebody, and then you have her family's attorney saying, yeah, we got witnesses saying she didn't really steal any bottles at all, she just put them down, she didn't have any alcohol in her car whatsoever. So now it's the confines of the age-old classic of waiting to see if this gets confirmed, but people can't do that because they're rushing to their judgments. They want to have their think pieces. They want to have everybody see what they're saying because their opinion is the ultimate fact, and if you poke a hole in it, obviously you're some bigot that wants to see white cops kill black people. But it's important to wait for more information. It's important to wait for the body cam footage because word of mouth is next to shit. You gotta see it to actually understand what goes on. And I'm sorry, other than waiting to see if she was actually somebody who stole alcohol, I'm looking at this and I'm saying the cops are justified in minimalizing a threat, which was somebody almost running over a cop. I know you don't want to hear that, but let's be fucking for real for a moment. Was the shooting justified? Yes. Was it necessary? No. Because guess what? They could have broke the car window. She could have got out, complied, proved that she wasn't stealing, probably go back home to her family while having to pay a ticket or a fine because she didn't have tags on her car.
Prove, first of all, that that you have a right to fucking pull her over.
And the whole situation would have been avoided completely. But no, people are afraid of the cops. People don't want to comply. People feel as though they can have an attitude in any given situation and think that nobody's going to do anything about it. Sad reality is that's not how the world works. These officers were trying to figure out what was going on, and all this woman had to do was say, hey, I didn't do this. I can prove it to you. Let me get out the car so that I could do it. She didn't do that, and she bit the hand that was dealt, and this is the circumstances that we have going on. Now, will this family get justice for their daughter? Maybe, maybe not. Time will tell, because all the information has to come out, and we shall wait and see. And the most important thing that I could possibly tell you all is to fucking wait for more information. Jesus, it's not that hard. You can have your opinions, but if you're broadcasting them as if they are fact, you're gonna have to deal with the weird realization, maybe, that you're betting it all on one thing, and if you're wrong, you're gonna have to fucking answer for it. But I know a lot of people won't, because their think pieces are the only thing they have that make them feel like they're the smartest person in the room. Subscribe to the channel. I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.